Amigos todos.
I am from the south, from the corner of the Atlantic and the Plate River. My country is a gentle, temperate and plain where livestock graze. Its history is one of ports, leather, salted meat, wool, and meat. There were very dark decades with lances and horses until finally, with the beginning of the 20th century, we were in the vanguard of social affairs, of state affairs, and in education. I would say that social democracy was invented in Uruguay. For almost 50 years, the world saw us as a type of Switzerland. But in reality, we were, in economic matters, we were the bastard children of the British Empire. And when the empire ended, we experienced the bitter and terrible terms of trade, and we yearned for the past almost 50 years, remembering Maracana. Today, we have reemerged in this globalized world, perhaps learning from our pain. My personal history, that of a boy, because once I was a boy who, like others, wanted to change his time and his world, dreaming about a free and classless society. My mistakes, well, in part, they were the results of my time. Obviously, I assume my mistakes, but sometimes I cry, if only I had the strength that I had when we enjoyed such a utopia. However, I'm not looking towards the past because what we have today was created from the fertile ashes of yesterday? No, that is not the case. I'm not on this planet to settle scores or to reminisce. I am greatly anguished by the future that I will not see and which I committed myself to. Yes, it's possible to have a world with better humankind, but perhaps today the main task is to save life. But I'm from the South, and I come from the South to this assembly. I share with the thousands of poor compatriots in cities, in the jungles, in the plains, in the pampas, and the canyons of Latin America, the common fatherland which we are creating. I have on my shoulders the indigenous cultures, the remains of colonialism in the Malvinas, with the pointless and regrettable blockades of Cuba under the Caribbean sun. I bear as well the consequences of the electronic surveillance, which does nothing but create a distrust, and a distrust that poisons us needlessly. I also come with a huge social debt, and with the need to defend the Amazon, the seas, our great rivers of America. I also have the duty to fight on behalf of my fatherland for all, and so that Colombia can finally regain peace. And I have the duty to fight for tolerance. Tolerance is needed for those who are different and with whom we have differences and disagreements. We don't need tolerance for those who agree. Tolerance is the foundation of peaceful coexistence, understanding that in the world we are different. The fight against the dirty economy, drug trafficking, theft and fraud, corruption, all of these contemporary scourges which were adopted by this opposite set of values, those who maintain that we are happier when we are richer, no matter what means are used. We have sacrificed the old immaterial gods, and now we are occupying the temple of the market god. This god organizes our economy, our politics, our habits, our lives, and even provides us with rates and credit cards and gives us the appearance of happiness. It seems that we have been born only to consume. And when we can no longer consume, we have a feeling of frustration, we suffer from poverty, and we are marginalized. It's true that today, in order to spend and to bury this debris in what is called the carbon footprint by science, if in this world we aspired to consume like the average American, we would need 3 planets in order to be able to live. In other words, our civilization has mounted this deceitful challenge. And as we go on, it's not possible for all to achieve this fulfillment. And in fact, our culture is becoming one of accumulation and a market culture. We promise a life of spending and squandering. In fact, this is a countdown against nature and against future humankind, a civilization against simplicity, against sobriety, against all natural cycles. But what is even worse, a civilization against freedom. That implies that we need time to experience human relationships. The most important thing, love, friendship, adventure, solidarity, family. A civilization against free time that doesn't pay, that can't be bought, and that allows us to contemplate the beauty of nature. We have destroyed the jungles, the green jungles, the true jungles, and we've created anonymous cement jungles. We have tackled sedentarianism with walkers, insomnia with pills, solitude with electronics. Are we happy when we are so far from the human essence? We have to ask ourselves this question. Stunned, we have fled from our biology, which defends life for life itself as a superior cause in itself, and we've replaced it by functional consumerism and accumulation. Politics, the eternal mother of human life, which has remained wedded to the economy and to the market. From one adventure to another, politics can only perpetuate itself, and as such, it has delegated its power, and it spends its time fighting for government. Unleashed, human history marches forward, buying and selling everything, and innovating in order to be able to negotiate what is, in a way, unnegotiable. There's marketing for everything. There's marketing for cemeteries, for funeral services, for maternity wards, for fathers, for mothers, for grandparents and uncles, including secretaries, cars, and vacations. Everything is business. However, marketing campaigns deliberately target children and their psychology in order to influence those who are older and to have safe territory for the future. There is a great deal of evidence of this abominable technology that sometimes leads us to frustration. The average man of our time, the average inhabitants of our large cities wander between financial institutions and the tedious routine of offices, which are sometimes moderated by air conditioning. He dreams of vacations and freedom. He dreams of being able to pay his bills until one day his heart stops and he says goodbye. There will be other soldiers who will fall to the jaws of the market, thus ensuring accumulation. The crisis is really the powerlessness of politics, which is incapable of understanding that humankind has not escaped and will not escape the feeling of a nation, a feeling which is almost instilled in our DNA. But today, it's time to begin to fight to prepare a world without borders. The globalized economy has no other inclination but private interest, the private interest of very few. And every nation state looks at its own stability. And today, the great task for our peoples, in our humble way of looking at things, is the everything. As if this were not enough, productive capitalism, the truly productive capitalism, is a prisoner of the banks. And the banks are at the summit of global power. But more clearly, the world is shouting for global rules that would respect the achievements of science, which are abundant. But science does not govern for the good. We need today a very lengthy agenda of definitions. We have to define working hours. We need convergence among currencies. We have to finance the global struggle for water and against desertification. We have to see how we can recycle more